Hey everybody. Hi. Thank you so much for coming back. This is Awesome Ashby Eats because I'm Awesome Ashby and I love to eat. And we are talking about part 2. This is Jumpstart U part 2, second episode. And today we are talking about protein and fiber and the nutrients because it is good to know how much food to eat, but we want to know what kind of food we're eating, and that's really important. So I definitely don't want this to go as long as the last video. And so the first thing I want to jump off saying is if you are still watching, thank you so much. Please comment down below. Please like, share, and subscribe, all that good stuff. I'm really excited to be here. I'm really excited about this new journey, and I'm really happy to tell you about food because I love food so much. And I think that going on a health journey is tough for any of us, all of us. And sometimes we feel really alone in it. And you see all these social media people and they show you their transformation, but you're not really there along the steps of the way. So I want to do this because I'm doing it along the steps of the way, right? I have lost and gained many pounds, over 100 pounds in the last 2 decades of my life. And I started out doing it really, really unhealthily, like in the wrong way, caffeine pills, starvation, things like that. And then the most recent time I lost weight in 2021, I did it the healthy way with the right eating patterns and exercising. And I want to stay on that trajectory. And I want everyone else to do that too, because there just seem to be so many either drugs or scams or pills or potions that people are selling today. And maybe that's always been the case. They call it snake oil, right? Where they're like, this is how you can lose this much weight. And this is and you know what? They might be right. And you might lose that weight, but you'll gain it right back. I want to say majority of people who have done Atkins, Weight Watchers, Jenny Craig, they did a study. I think it's in one of the last episodes last time where 700 people did a Weight Watchers study, and like majority of all those people gain the weight back, because the problem is we all want quick fixes. We want some sort of like magic wand, is the term I think I use all the time. We want a magic wand to fix it, and like if there is one, let me know. But there's not. I've looked high and low and left and right. I've looked everywhere and there's no magic wand. So this knowledge is the knowledge that you need to be able to focus on your health, and your health is wealth. And I mean that seriously. Like today we're talking about protein and fiber, and we're going to get into that in 1 minute. But I was just doing a lot of research and homework on this stuff before I came on to talk to you. And especially for women, like this is for my ladies. Did you know that your weight directly correlates to the amount of money you make? And I mean, granted, that's the case if you work for someone else. If you're independent and you make your own money, like you're my hero. And those are my dreams and goals. Because when you work for a company or a boss, there are proven statistics that show it's in the past, it used to be about makeup too, but that's less the case now. It's only about 70, like only about 25% of women wear makeup to work, but I still think it does have an effect. But the pay is like $9,000 difference for every like 10 pounds. It's something ridiculous, and it's a real bummer. And it's mind blowing to think that like that's actually true. Health is wealth. Like the more weight you lose, the healthier you are, the more money people want to give you. So take that as you will. So we're going to talk about the perfect meal. Now, there is no perfect meal, but there is a way to build one. So let's look at the first chart. And this is what a healthy meal looks like. You've got your lean proteins, you've got your carbs, you've got your fats, you've got your vegetables. This is a general picture, okay? Because I don't see anybody eating a full pepper. What is that? Cilantro, and then like a half an avocado and a bottle of olive oil. These are just showing you the options. Now, I want you to screen capture that, like take a picture with your phone so that you know, because it's really more about the amount. See how it says 1 to 2 palms? Okay. And so sorry, there was a big motorcycle that just went by. And so we have here lean proteins, 1, 2 palms. That's your hand palms. Carbs, 1, 2 cupped hands. Okay, so your hand cupped, not the palms. Vegetables, it says 1 to 2 fists. Like they're like, eat all the vegetables you want. And fats, 1 to 2 thumbs. And so healthy fat, avocados, seeds, nuts, olive oil. And you should really know all the different options in each category. Because let me just give you an example right here. Okay. In the lean proteins part, you see like the eggs and the yogurt and the salmon and all of that. That little cup right there in the middle, that's flavored yogurt. Flavored yogurt is, let me just, can you just bring it back? Thank you. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Thank you. That is flavored yogurt. And just so you know, flavored yogurt is ultra processed, ultra processed, and not good for you. You want plain yogurt, and preferably plain Greek yogurt because of the probiotic effect. Greek yogurt is the answer. That's my personal opinion. Do what you'd like to do, but just remember that those flavored yogurts and then just the big thing of regular yogurt are completely different because the flavored yogurts are ultra processed. I'm sure regular yogurt is processed, but you want to try to stay away from ultra processed foods as much as possible. Okay, so that was our perfect meal. And I guess I wanted to show you that because, in the last video, we talked about the portion and the hand size, and I wanted to show you like a plate of it. But what's really important, what we're going to get into now, is the stuff on the plate. And the first thing I want to talk to you about is protein, because we all need protein. We need like so much protein. And I just said in the last video, like, about fiber, and like we need fiber even more, but we're going to start with protein because think of how much you weigh, whatever the number is, right? You need about half of that in grams of protein. So for instance, if you weigh 200 pounds, right? You need about 100 grams of protein a day. That is very difficult to do. Right? So the interesting part that I've learned as I study food is that if you were to eat the foods you're supposed to eat, you would be full all the time. It's because we eat the foods we love to eat that we mess up, because there's a lot of delicious fast food options that don't have the nutrients in it that our body needs, right? So if we focus on the foods that our body does need, especially as we're getting into that middle part of life, it is very helpful. So first, think about how much protein you need. How much do you weigh? Divide it in half. That's how many grams of protein that you need. And that's just a rough estimate. I highly encourage you to go on Google and look up a calculator or whatever and just say protein intake calculator and see how much your body actually needs. And it's a lot. And I think even if you've ever watched, like, I'm a big Henry Cavill fan. Hey, handsome. Like, who's not? He had to eat like so much chicken. You have to eat, especially any of those superheroes, when they have to build the muscles and get all big and muscly. My favorite. Get it like a schoolgirl. You have to eat a lot of protein, like a lot of chicken, a lot of, and you want it to be lean, healthy protein. And that is not easy to eat. It's not easy to eat. Okay. Especially like, I feel like back in the 80s, everybody was like chugging eggs, and that was part of all that. You don't have to chug eggs, but find out how much protein your body needs and think about that and then eat that. And you'd be surprised, the more protein you eat, the healthier you become and the more you lose weight. And again, if you're vegan, protein, but you just get the protein from lentils and soy and tofu and stuff like that. Okay. Woo! And actually, I have a protein chart. We're going to look at a protein chart. But first I want to look at like a part B to the portions, okay? So this is a part B to the portions we were talking about. And this is like sort of a more physical approach. And see, it's a little controversial because there's men on the left, women on the right. And I really feel like it has to do with how big you are. Like, you could be a 5'2" man. You could be a 5'2" man and a 5'10" woman, and your portions are going to be very different because you're just a different sized human being. So make sure you take all of that into consideration. So we talked about protein, very important. Make sure you find out how much protein your body is supposed to intake. I know I don't even intake enough protein. I'm always reaching further. And that's why protein powder is so popular. I'd also like to make sure to tell you whey protein powder is a milk derivative. So if you have any lactose issues, it's going to hurt your tummy. I'm not a fan of whey protein powder. I don't think it's a quality substance. I use Primal Kitchen collagen powder. It's, I think, derived from coconuts or something else. Either way, it's plant-based, which I really like. Again, I do a lot of vegan things, but it is because I'm lactose intolerant. And I might not even be lactose intolerant. I was doing some homework about casein A1, which is something that's a thing in milk. And because there's other dairy I can't eat, like I can eat cottage cheese and I can eat yogurt, but I can't have regular milk or ice cream. So I could just be allergic or have a reaction to casein A1. And if you don't know what that is, look that up. Because again, there's so many things that happen when we ultra process our food and our bodies are not used to it. It's not organic, right? It's not organic. And as much as I know that organic is more money, and that's another huge food cost issue, which we'll talk about in another episode, organic does make it less processed and they, safer, processing for the whatever it is that you're buying. So I am a fan of organic. Organic is always more expensive most of the time. If it's not, you get lucky, definitely buy organic. So now I want to talk about fiber. Fiber is something I think a lot of us have an issue with. And I'm going to tell a personal story because I just want you to know how important fiber is. So back in 2013, I lost my grandma. She was my mom's mom, and she was the best woman ever. She had the biggest heart. Like you've never seen a woman with a bigger heart. Maybe you know a woman like that in your life. And she was always doing for others. Like she would literally give you the shirt off her back if she knew you needed it. And those kind of people are really beautiful and really rare. And I loved her very much. So when she did pass and I knew it was going to break my mom's heart just walking through this situation, I made sure to be able to fly to Maryland to be there with her. And so I helped my mom clean her apartment out at her where she lived together with my mom. And it was so sad because as I'm cleaning out all of her stuff, I realized she had like over a dozen different bottles of stool softener. And I didn't even know what it was because I don't use it. And I was like, why is that the case? And when I did the homework, I learned that number one, later in life, it is just even easier to get us on all the prescription pills. And we need some of them. I'm not arguing with the pharmaceutical companies. There's issues, so there's medication for those issues. I do think they take advantage of the situation, but I digress. Food is from the planet and the earth, and it is made to like be here to help us and sustain us. And it is so heartbreaking to think that we turn to pills in our time of struggle when we cannot figure out how to help ourselves. And if you need pills, I am not telling you to not take the pills that you need. What I am telling you is when you take them to excess, or when you take them for fun, or when you take them and it's not something that you really need, it is hurting you. Okay? And fiber is something that 97% of the men on this planet need, definitely in this country, and 90% of the women in this country need the fiber. So what I also thought was really interesting when we talk about fiber is a fiber is a carb always. Okay? A fiber is always a carb. But a carb is not always fiber. And I think we have some misconceptions of that because you think, oh, I'm eating a carb, I'm eating fiber. No, you're not. So you have to make sure that you're eating things that have fiber in them and not just like following the picture on the map. Like, oh, it said this, so this is the carb part. That must be fiber. I think we have a lot of misconceptions about that. I mean, we must, if there's we almost have an A. We have an A score of people not eating fiber. That is not good. And so I have some graphs for that. Okay, let's go to the charts. Okay, so this is high fiber foods, and I took it from somebody off the internet. Respect. I thank you for sharing. I was shocked to see that chia seeds and flax seeds have the highest fiber along with popcorn, oats, almonds, beans, whole wheat pasta, split peas, lentils, chickpeas, sunflower seeds, avocados, raspberries, whole wheat bread, green peas. I want you to make sure you look at the whole wheat bread. Not all bread is whole wheat, right? And no matter what, all bread is ultra processed. And some of these other things might be ultra processed as well, which is why I want you to make sure you do your homework. But definitely, I think the top 3 are easy to incorporate, especially the top 6 actually are easy to incorporate into the diet. And it's tough because the chia seeds and flax seeds are seeds, and popcorn's not normally part of a meal. It's a fun food. And, you can make a fun food healthy because there's different ways to make popcorn, right? If you air pop popcorn, it's super healthy and good for you. But if you pop the popcorn in all the oil and the butter, it's not as good for you, although it tastes so much better. So that's what you have to decide with. But I just think it's important because, like, all of those top 6 ingredients weren't things that you would think of as like your carb on the plate. Like I didn't see white rice. I didn't really see any rice. I didn't see any, like, it said whole wheat bread, but it was at the very bottom. And again, bread is ultra processed. So it's like if all of your fiber is coming from bread, and then like even when I was younger, I remember my parents used to eat prunes a lot. And I was like, well, this is the way to get fiber. And yes, mind you, prunes do have fiber, but they also have like 20, 30 grams of sugar in them. So I just know that we can do better. I believe in us. And I'm going to try to implement this and maybe share some things that I create that have this stuff in them, because like it should be super easy to make a flaxseed, chia seed sort of cup morning breakfast. You put it in some unsweetened almond milk, maybe a little stevia, or add a little zhuzh, for flavoring. And then it's like, boom, you have a breakfast that really helps for the day. I also want to say that like flax seeds and chia seeds are really good for women over 40 because our estrogen levels are moving up and down, and we've got the hormone balances we have to worry about. Not work, but it is work. And so that is important too. So make sure you remember that. Also, I want to show you this chart. Look how fun that is. I love charts. This is protein content for food. So you can screen capture this on your phone as well. And this gives you an idea of all the things that have the most protein in them. And so that's what you want to be eating to really get those protein numbers up. Now, mind you, all of these are for a 4-ounce serving. So think about how much protein that is, right? Just from the shrimp. Let's look at shrimp. 24 grams of protein for 4 ounces. You would have to have, or I would have to have, like a pound of shrimp in a day. Minimum, give or take more, probably more. Like who's eating a pound of shrimp a day? Like I could. I know. I'm not trying to eat a pound of shrimp a day, but that's what I'm saying. Like you really need to focus on protein being the highlight of every meal, because you're probably not eating a pound of shrimp a day or a pound of chicken. It's like, that's a lot. That's a lot of protein. So think about how, that's why people do like protein powder. And we do like the cottage cheese and the Greek yogurts, because there is some high protein content in that. And you don't have to get it from like a pound of chicken or a pound of shrimp. Okay. Is that all I wanted to talk to you about? This is a good one. Okay. You don't have to be so close. Bye. Thank you. Come on. Thank you. All right. So soluble and insoluble fiber is really important to know. And I thought that was really interesting when I was doing my homework. I'm going to read this to you. So I'm looking over here because it is so interesting. Here we go. Soluble, SOLUBLE fiber dissolves in water and it turns into a gel-like substance. This includes plant pectin and gums. And so that comes from like fresh fruits and vegetables, right? Love that. But insoluble fiber, which is really what we want, does not dissolve in water and is indigestible. This includes cellulose, beta-glucans, and hemocellulose. The point is those foods help you go to the bathroom, and that causes a lot of problems in us as adults, as kids, if we don't have the right fiber amount. And so it's just really interesting because I think a lot of us would think a thing is insoluble or soluble, and it's just not that black and white. And so insoluble, which adds bulk to stool, reduces constipation, and supports insulin sensitivity. The first few things were like bran, whole wheat, things like that. And you have to remember, we have such a horrible hulling process when we do ultra processed breads and cereals and foods, that you really have to look on the label for that whole wheat emblem. And even then, it's like, it's tough. It's tough. It's ideal if you can go to like a local bakery or something like that, because we just have so much processed in everything that we eat. And it's interesting because I do think that like all correlates together. It's like, if you don't have the right kind of whole wheat or bran or seeds, because remember we talked about the chia seeds and the flax seeds, or beans, right? A lot of different beans, because people are probably not eating like cups and cups of berries and spinach and avocado and cauliflower. I mean, they might have it as a side on their dinner plate, but that's not the amount that you probably need, that you definitely do need. Like, again, we're all failing in fiber. And then like the soluble is really good for you. It's just not going to help you poop, but it's the good fiber. Relieves diarrhea, IBS, so that's exciting. Helps slow down digestion and aids in blood sugar control. And that's your stuff like your apples, your bananas, your peas, your oats, Brussels sprouts. So it's like, you're like, oh, well, I'm eating this big salad and it has all these vegetables in it, so I'm definitely doing what's right. I'm not saying that you're not. I'm saying knowledge is power. And when we don't have these kinds of foods, especially with the whole wheat, it's tough. And so it's like, what if you're gluten-free? You're always going to want a more refined situation for whatever you're eating. If it's gluten-free, no matter what, is going to be highly refined because it's taken all the gluten out. Then it's really tough. So you really need to focus on making sure you eat the chia seeds and the flax seeds and have beans and berries and spinach in your life, because you're not having that whole wheat, that bran into your life. I was really shocked when I learned about this, because I didn't know there were two types of fiber, insoluble and soluble, and I didn't know they have different effects on the body. And so it is really important to eat healthy food all the time. And if we were eating the right foods all the time and not the wrong foods, it would all work out. But obviously it's not something that comes naturally to us. So here we are, as the beautiful humans that we are. And so it's really interesting, because when I look at like what's a smart carb, like what's a smart carb? So now we're not talking about fiber, we're talking about a smart carb, because ideally you want a smart carb that has fiber in it and it's really good for you. And so spaghetti squash, people are big fans. Red potatoes, sweet potatoes, quinoa, brown rice, chickpeas, bulgur. Who's eating bulgur? I'm not eating bulgur. Do you eat bulgur? Tell me how you eat bulgur. Butternut squash. Squashes are big. Spelt. Who's eating spelt? Tell me how you eat spelt. In the comments below, you tell me how you eat spelt. I've never had spelt. I don't know how to eat spelt. You? Anybody? Oh, and this was really interesting. So always 100% whole grain. So if you are looking for 100% whole grain, this is the food list you want to write down. Wild rice, quinoa, bulgur. Who's eating that? I don't know. Popcorn, love that, and oatmeal. Now, also look into oatmeal, because like cereals, like oatmeals, the stuff that is ultra processed, which is delicious, which you love, which we buy, is not the same as just the steel coat or the simple, so it's like the whole oat, plain, and then you add your sugar and your seasonings to it. That's always going to be healthier. Often contains a mix of whole and refined grains. So stuff that you want to be really careful when you buy, because it's most likely ultra processed and not good for you. Bread, pasta, breakfast cereals, crackers, and chips. And those are the things we love and the things we buy. And I know that. I know. But we're here, we're trying, we're going to make a difference in our lives. We're going to help it stick. We're going to do it. I believe in you. And I can't wait to see you next time for part 3, where we're covering the 6 aspects. All 6 of these episodes cover a really important aspect of your overall health. In the last one, we were talking about calories, like amount of calories, right? Very important amount of calories, and portion sizes, because it's all size matters. And then in this one, we're talking about all about what are in those special sizes. We want it to be nutrient dense is the term. Nutrient dense. And that's making sure you have the really good proteins and the really good fiber and the really good carbs. Okay. Vegetables are a personal choice because they're all good for you. I mean, you could eat lots of vegetables all day long if you're into it. But I know that all of our bodies are different and some of them process vegetables differently. Like I love carrots, I love celery, I love lettuce, all the different lettuces. I love even peppers I can do. I can't do a lot of broccoli and cauliflower. It really messes up my stomach. So you really have to like figure out what's best for you and make a list and focus on it. It is work, but it's good for you and it's fun. And I feel like the more work you do, the better your body feels and the happier you are with the results. Okay. So that's it for me. Comment down below, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Tell a friend. We're being the healthier versions of ourselves for this new world we're walking into. And I'm so excited to be here with you for it. And I can't wait to see you next time. All right. Until then, stay well and enjoy life. Bye.